Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. So we got XRP here, guys, on the daily right now, trading at 38 cents. Not too much movement in the crypto space today. It has been fairly quiet. We haven't seen any further moves down, which is good. We are still maintaining this level of support in here, which is around 32 cents for XRP. Not really going below that. If we zoom out here, you guys can see we did hit that as resistance back in August of 2020 and also back in February of 2020 before the beer flu lockdown. So we are maintaining this critical level of support, which is looking quite nice. Bringing up Bitcoin here on the daily, you can see Bitcoin's trading just under $16,800 per coin. So forming what is looking like, unfortunately, the inverted pennant, or rather the bearish pennant. This usually indicates that the trend is likely going to continue further down. And I mean, like we've seen in the past, I don't know if you guys remember if you were here for this bear market, we were seeing the consolidation for Bitcoin back in late 2018. And then all of a sudden, I remember this, Bitcoin just kind of fell off a cliff. And it was right before Christmas. And everybody was worrying, panicking that the cryptocurrency market has just sunk and that it'll never recover. The doom and gloom, of course, all the FUD that comes with that. And in and around here, we did see that same kind of pattern where we did see that initial dump, and then we saw that inverted bearish pennant before a further move to the downside. And when taking a look at that pattern, what can we glean from that? So if I just bring that up again here, let me zoom in on that a little bit and take the price range tool. From the top of the bull market, at this point in time, we were roughly at a 72% downturn, and Bitcoin did go down as low as 85% off its top. But if we take a look at that and we compare that to today and where the top was for the bull market in this particular cycle, we can see Bitcoin down around 75%, so roughly in and around that same range. And if Bitcoin were to go down anywhere between 80 and 85%, we would be, well, if it went down 80%, we would be touching this level up here, which would essentially be about $13,500. But some are saying if it does go down to 85%, we could see Bitcoin in and around the $10,300 mark in and around here. So those are two potential areas to be looking at over the next couple of months. I'm not saying it's going to happen, and this is why I'm deploying capital very carefully. I haven't actually bought any more cryptocurrencies yet. I did say I was going to tell you guys if I do enter another position. I did enter some Bitcoin positions in my retirement savings fund in and around here, so it was a product tied to Bitcoin price fluctuation, and I don't plan on cashing that out, or I can't cash that out until I'm fully retired. So for me, it's not really, I'm not really thinking about, if it's the absolute bottom of the market. I just did it to, first to offset taxes, but also just because I want to plan for my retirement. But if we are to look closely, the bottom of the market could be here or could be near. And I mean, the market could rebound. However, I really don't think that next push up is really going to happen in a meaningful capacity until we have the regulatory clarity in the United States. Like Kevin O'Leary said the other day, and if you guys didn't catch that video, I will link it up here in the top right-hand corner. Big money is scared out of crypto, especially because of this FTX thing. And so they're really not going to take a chance until there is that clear regulatory clarity. They have been dabbling in it because they didn't want to miss the boat. But now that FTX has collapsed, they are really not taking any more chances. So we've got to wait for that to come first. Brian Goldman also tagged me on Twitter with regards to his Californian credit union. So he says, my California credit union has this on their website. So I was talking about this in a video I did the other day, which I will link up here in the top right-hand corner. These banks are planning a shutdown over the weekend, starting on Friday, some of them extending until Tuesday of next week. And here's another one, guys. So that was 4 banks from Norway, Italy, France, and South Africa. And here's another one from a credit union in California. We will be performing system maintenance on mobile and online banking with limited functionality starting, you guessed it, Friday the 18th, ending on Saturday the 19th. Some features may be unavailable, including credit card and home loan account information. So now we have a credit union in the United States doing the same thing. So again, just a very strong coincidence, or are they implementing something bigger like an ISO 20022 migration? I'm going to talk a little bit more about that, guys, in a second. First, I just kind of wanted to round out what happened at Swell over the last couple of days. We talked a little bit about the new MFS product, adopting ODL in Africa in the video I did yesterday, which I'll link up here in the top right-hand corner. Here we have James Wallace, though, VP of Central Bank Engagement and CBDCs at Ripple. He took the stage on day one of Swell Global to discuss why the technology that powers the XRP Ledger is primed for central bank digital currencies and exactly who will need to strategize for a CBDC future.
XRP Ledger is, world-leading public blockchain, which was built for payments and issuing currencies. So it's a natural fit for CBDCs. We've taken that and basically providing a private version of that for the central banks. Something that's going to be absolutely critical for the success of CBDCs, and the adoption of them, is the relationship between the public sector and the private sector. As I mentioned earlier, we view that the public sector, the central banks working with the government, will be the designers, the rule setters in terms of policy, and the implementers of the platform for the core capabilities around wholesale and retail CBDC, but that the use cases will come from the private sector. The list just goes on and on and on. There's literally endless potential use cases.
And we've got the fancy Ripple Swell splash screen there at the end of the video. You can see here, though, that the central bank engagement and the use of central bank digital currencies is really going to be central for XRPL usage. And, Ripple's already started with this, and they are continuing to make waves in that regard, guys. I saw this from DJ Peter Vass. First XRPL-based USD stablecoin, or the USDS, has been launched with SEC-qualified custodian on the XRP Ledger. According to a recent press release, Stably Corporation, based in Seattle, has announced the official launch of their multi-chain USD stablecoin Stably USD under the USDS ticker. The coin has been released on the XRP Ledger. This is the first ever USD pegged stablecoin that has been launched on the XRPL as part of a cooperation between XRPL and Stably. The source who stated that USDS is a regulatory compliant asset. Aside from the XRPL, USDS has been issued on 11 other chains, including Ethereum, Stellar, VeChain, and Tezos. USDS is fully backed by USD 1-to-1 and can be exchanged at any moment since it was created together with US regulated and SEC qualified custodians. So this is the first step in, I'm sure, many to come, where we're going to have a lot of government certified cryptocurrencies and particularly stablecoins now being issued on the blockchain. And, it's great to see that the XRP Ledger is getting some of this action. The press release is not offering details on what bank or financial institution that is. The document merely refers to it as a Stably custodian partner. And they are going to continue to do reserve audits to make sure that the USD stablecoin is robust, to make sure that every single token remains redeemable and fully backed with USD. Initially, the company launched its stablecoin on Ethereum 4 years ago. Now it is being utilized by users from more than 200 countries around the world via various payment platforms, including Fedwire, Swift, etc. And so, I don't know if we'll ever see a lawsuit regarding the ETHgate scandal, but they originally launched on Ethereum. Now they're launching on the XRP Ledger. But I think ultimately, guys, it's good for the whole ecosystem. This is the kind of progress we need to see coming out of the FTX shambles. Because if we can't see progress, if we can't work together, if the industry is going to continually have that dark cloud cast over it, we are never going to make progress, and we're never going to really see the value, the potential that a lot of these cryptocurrencies have. So in order for our coins to have value, it's good that, the industry is working together. So wanted to thank DJ Peter Vass for posting that. I also saw this guy's another one from the Wrath of Kahneman. Ripple's ODL buzz is exciting, but don't miss this. ODL with machine learning. So Ripple just released this on their Insights blog. Should be able to squeeze the most liquidity out of networks with agility at a time when it's drying up. Let Ripple punch above their weight thanks to the XRP Ledger and XRP. In addition to record growth, we've added advanced machine learning capabilities to our ODL solution to further refine our customer experience. This again coming from Ripple's blog. This technology makes the payment process more efficient for our customers while managing liquidity at the utmost level to support a range of transaction types, from online marketplace or Lemonway and money transfer services for remittances, XBot, to Pan-African gateways that connect millions of mobile wallets, most recently MFS Africa, which they announced at Swell. We understand that liquidity is essential to both our internal business operations and our customers' business operations worldwide. Wrath of Kahneman continues down here by saying capability capabilities to launch this year. Excited to hear about them. Just-in-time payments, lending, etc. Another screen grab here from Ripple's blog. As Ripple's products reach significant growth and scale in 2022, we continue to invent and deliver solutions to sustainably grow and offer best-in-class experience on behalf of our customers. Ripple's machine learning and automation efforts are focused on liquidity, the backbone of crypto, and all our enterprise-grade products. You remember when Brad Garlinghouse gave the opening speech at Swell? The first thing he led with was liquidity. Maintaining liquidity, making sure XRP is that liquid cryptocurrency to provide value amongst many different verticals. Well, here we have it again, and now machine learning is going to enhance that liquidity. So this coming from Devraj Varadan, SVP of Engineering at Ripple. He says, we're excited to launch several of those capabilities this year to scale ODL efficiently, to serve more customers globally, and to provide the best experience possible for our customers. So machine learning, liquidity, it's all sounding very positive. Wanted to thank the Wrath of Kahneman for posting that. I also saw this guy's from Mike Manfield, just kind of shifting back to Africa, and a Ripple partner, Flutterwave. Well, they are now launching the N-Mobile app. Flutterwave, Africa's leading payment technology company, today unveiled N-Mobile, an app to facilitate faster and easier transfer of funds from the diaspora of the African continent. Flutterwave also signed Toby Amusan, the Nigerian-born 100 meter hurdles women world record holder, as N-Mobile's ambassador, a decision the company said is due to their similarity in speed and resilience. Well, isn't that clever? And I mean, these Ripple-enabled companies, I keep saying it, these Ripple-enabled companies are only able to offer these types of services because they decided to run on Ripple. Now, companies with a lot more resources, they could have, taken their time, decided it wasn't that important in 2018, 2019, but then, come 2022, they're like, yeah, I guess this Ripple thing really is catching on. Let's adopt the technology. Let's throw a ton of money at developing a whole bunch of apps, and let's get up to par with some of our competitors that were getting onto this back in 2018, 2019. I believe Flutterwave was one of those early adopters. And so they can just push out these products now that are already going to be up to the standard, the 2022 standard of payments, with relatively little work that needs to be done in the back end. So just down here gives you some details on how that's going to be used. They talk a little bit about their partnership with the 100-meter hurdle runner. And so that all sounds great for Ripple partner Flutterwave. Wanted to thank Mike for posting that. I also saw this guy's from Real XRP Boy on Twitter. This was an interview that was just conducted on November 17th, okay? Ripple partner or competitor, this video asks. Now, this guy, for those of you who do not know, is Andrew Smith. Okay, he is the CTO founding member at RTGS.global and founder of Clearbank. So here is his LinkedIn profile. You guys can see since September of 2019 till present, he has been the CTO and founding member at RTGS Limited. And before that, October 2019 to September 2020, he was with Ripple partner Clearbank. And here's what he said when asked about global settlement fabric, removing trapped liquidity in Nostro and Vostro accounts. Remember, the company that he founded, Clearbank, is a Ripple partner. Listen to this.
Cross-border, why do you want to break that? Why do you want to interfere with that? You've already got it. So if you think of a settlement fabric, this was just sitting on the side, luckily.
Okay. You're going to do a magic trick or something?
You're going to do a magic trick,
okay.
Right? Have you got your phone?
I hope so, yes.
This is probably the most informal interview you've done, isn't it?
Right, okay.
So put your phone down.
Fine. This is definitely a magic trick.
Yeah,
okay.
Let's imagine that is a payment system, domestic payment system in a geography. Now, settlement fabric is everything to do with that payment system right now. So it's the financial market infrastructure, it's the central bank, it's the ledger off the back of that, it's the infrastructure that may be running on-prem or in the cloud, it's the messaging, it's the banks. And that's what makes up domestic payments, right? But if you were to look at that, there's a load of other things that are just too small that we don't talk about. What infrastructure you're running, who's your core banking provider, what's the messaging layer, interconnectivity with there, what are the account holders, what's the reason even behind making those transactions. All of those things collectively, they make up fabric, settlement fabric. I think in one of my talks I talked about the force, right? So Obi-Wan Kenobi said to Luke Skywalker, it's the force is everything that surrounds you, penetrates and binds you. It's a similar thing. It's the space between everything we do.
Okay.
I've not lost you.
Move me forward quickly now.
Forward,
You're starting to get a little esoteric. Come on, here we go.
So here we go. So there's a domestic payment system.
Yeah.
Now if you can stretch that fabric, like I've done here, sooner enough you'll find another domestic payment system. And you can multiply that. Now the fabric touches these payment systems very lightly. It's a thin layer, okay? Integrated at a very thin layer. But because they're connected, they're now interoperable. So that payment system is now interoperable with this payment system. The banks that are connected are now interoperable. So when I think of cross-border trade, I'm in the UK over here and I want to settle a US dollar transaction. And let's go with UK's wholesale PVP.
And the key thing is wholesale here, right? Because people are going to say, hey, I can do these things with my retail and my Visa or whatever, but you're talking wholesale.
Wholesale. Okay. How do you get those funds?
Okay.
So my bank over here, wants to source 100 million US dollars. Okay, you can do that via the settlement fabric because you're going to execute PVP, a trade. So you've done your FX trade outside of the platform with a settlement rounds. It links them together across this fabric and then makes the transaction atomically. So we lock funds, and Nick would have talked about this in the first of you. We lock funds in the US, we lock funds in the UK, and we atomically settle that immediately, 24/7 PVP. Once you've got those funds, you can make a transaction. So whatever you want to do in the FX world or cross-border, you can make immediate payments off the back of that wholesale movement.
Okay, so we're getting away from sort of the Vostro Nostro and the trap liquidity that's associated with that, are we?
Exactly.
And right at the end of that, you can hear he says, exactly, getting rid of the Nostro and Vostro, removing trap liquidity, and making sure settlement concludes quickly. Now, they don't talk about what particular cryptocurrency is going to solve for this, but considering Andrew Smith was the head of CBX and founding member at Clearbank, who is in fact a Ripple partner, it does make sense. I don't know why this original person, it wasn't from Real XRP Boy, but the original person that posted this was wondering why they'd be, or if they'd be a competitor or not. It sounds to me like everything is going to work together, and even Andrew Smith did comment on interoperability. So a great clip there from Real XRP Boy on Twitter. Coinslanger also bringing this to our attention, guys. Breaking XRP trading has been halted on Uphold. Now, I don't know if some of you guys have noticed this, but apparently Uphold has halted trading. Is anybody else noticing this? Please do put it down in the comments section if you are, or tag me on Twitter, or if you're noticing XRP being halted on any other exchange, if you're not in the US, I guess, for that matter. On top of that, Jolie B here, notice this, just caught this glitch on CoinSpot. XRP at $57,100. Now notice, it is the only coin here that is glitching. All these other coins are looking to stay at their market prices, like XLM, Litecoin, Dogecoin, ADA, and Ethereum. Now, these prices are reflected in AUD, which is the Australian dollar, but even if we do the conversion there, $57,100 would be the equivalent of about $38,300 in USD. XRP at $57,100, the only cryptocurrency on this list that looks to be glitching, things that make you go, All this too, guys, as we're seeing the bank shutting down this weekend. Now, I gotta thank Ian Binns for this, loving this. I remember Shane Ellis mentioning this back last year. Okay, so this is an old tweet from an older document here, the Ultimate Guide to ISO 20022 Migration. Okay, this originally published by Deutsche Bank, Global Transaction Banking. So this is an official document that they put out a few years ago, so the timeline is a little off on this. However, even though the timeline is off, I don't think the plan has changed. Remember when they stated this, as with T2, EBA clearing will also start with ISO 20022 and is currently working on the respective guidelines for migration. The migration will take place in the form of a Big Bang. Eurosystem participants have been informed that a Big Bang migration will take place with communication with the T2 systems only possible via the new access method and exclusively with our new formats as of November 22nd, 2021. Now, we know that timeline has been pushed off, but I think this is still relevant due to the fact that we're already seeing banks closing mysteriously around the world this weekend. So again, older tweets, but I think it's worth mentioning. They say here, R3 blockchain only provides tracking of other orders, not payments. So when HSBC states we are ready to do a live transaction using digital assets, they are referring to a Ripple component. So that has to do with HSBC specifically. Shane also mentioned Swift are using Ripple Tech, SAP or SAP, send payments through MT103 messages. And we know the MT standard, guys, is in fact changing over to the MX standard. So I did a video on that the other day. And so are we going to see glitches this weekend? Are we going to see a bump? When is this Big Bang going to happen? Well, it's looking as though the deadline is still set for March 23, our approach to ISO 20022 adoption, in line with the adoption timeline. Agreed with our community, will enable ISO 20022 messages for cross-border payments and cash reporting businesses starting from October 2022 in an opt-in basis and March 23 for general availability. There will be 3 periods of coexistence for MT and MX, allowing early adopters to benefit from ISO 20022's richer structured data, and other banks to adopt at their own pace. We'll also facilitate the interoperability of MX to MT with our central inflow translation service. So it's looking as though March 23 could be that go live date, guys. Even here in the byline of their timeline, in bold lettering, they say 2023 is a key year for our community as we continue to support the journey towards ISO 20022 go live for cross-border payments and reporting, CBPR, and coexistence starting from March. So that is what they are stating. Going down here too, they talk about go live on ISO 20022 for CBPR Plus and the start of coexistence from March of 2023. During the coexistence period for March of 23, some financial institutions will begin sending ISO 20022 messages to gain the full benefits of richer structured data. Other banks will migrate at their own pace, as I'd mentioned, and they are transforming from MT to MX. Now, this is from Swift's official website, and this is obviously updated, so this is actually today's information. We know the timeline had been shifted from 2021. I wanted to just bring this up to you. An interview from 2021 from Spiritual Warlord here on Twitter. What is this mysterious/suspicious Digital X Chatterley speaks about, okay? Again, from July of 21, listen to this interview. Julia Chatterley questioning Kristalina Georgieva, the head of the IMF, about this Digital X currency possibly replacing the US dollar.
The US dollar as the world's reserve currency in its current form remains the world's reserve currency, or do you think Digital X, and you can fill it in if you choose to or probably not, has taken over? Kristalina, to you first.
Yes, the US will be reserve currency in 10 years.
A digital or the current form?
Whether it is the current one or it is a digital dollar is to be seen. That is, let's get together in 10 years and see what we have in our wallet. Is it a digital dollar, digital wallet, or we still rely on the dollar as we know it? And it is very likely it might be both. Why? Because the strength of the US economy, the depth of the capital markets in the United States, and above all, the innovation capability of US companies, that is what is lifting up the United States. And we will see likely some changes in the composition of reserve currencies, and I'm pretty sure there would be presence of digital in that world 10 years from now.
So Kristalina Georgieva does say the US dollar isn't going anywhere anytime soon. And she doesn't engage with Julia Chatterley's question. Do you think Digital X could be a substitution for the US dollar? And Julia even states here, and you can fill it in if you choose to, but you probably will not. What is Digital X? Considering that was in 2021, ISO 20022 adoption is happening, the timeline has been shifted. So is March 2023 the new drop dead date? And are we currently seeing glitches for a potential Digital X to transform the ecosystem? That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.